Oh, welcome back, strangers. So how did it go? Would anybody like to give me some feedback about things that were shared and said? If you just want to raise your hand if you want to speak. Richard.
Okay, yeah. So in our group, David, thank you, David, was telling us about how he made a decision when he was about 20 years old. He was studying for his exams, riding on the train, reading lots of textbooks and everything else. And he had a thought whilst he was doing that he should attend the church that he'd been going to more than he had been for the same amount of time, effectively, that he was studying his books. And he felt very much that he ought to do more for the church. So he took that decision, and as he grew from there, he's become what he is now, very heavily involved in all church activities and so on. And he very much was saying that, as his career blossomed, so did his growth in God. They sort of blossomed hand in hand. When one was successful, the other was successful. And it's resulted in a fantastic career and a fantastic walk with God. So it was suggested that say yes to Jesus and see where it takes you.
Oh, that is marvellous testimony. Thank you, David. Thank you, Richard. Anybody else like to say anything? Sarah.
We found it quite hard to think of times when somebody might literally say to you, follow me, or even having that feeling, but we recognise that quite often we have to follow people's instructions. Maybe your parents when you're younger, or even your spouse. Or maybe if you were going somewhere new, like to a new school or a job interview even, and you didn't know the physicality of the building, somebody might well say to you, follow me, and you just have to go along after them and trust that they'll take you to the right place, and that somebody might help you get back to where you need to be at the end of it as well.
Thanks. Yeah.
And maybe one of the things that might stop us from following is stubbornness.
That's very true. I think you can either be very specific or be quite vague about the question. And I think what holds a lot of us back from pretty much everything is the practicalities of life. Like I was saying in my group, but you've still got a mortgage to pay. You've still got children waiting to be fed and to be educated. And it's those kind of practicalities that we tend to use as an excuse, but probably more of a reason not to follow me. It's quite a tricky path to follow. Thank you, everyone. By way of a change, we are now going to have a video, which is a piece of performed poetry by a lass called Samara Norris. And if you could view it as a prayer. Thanks, Joe.